So I know I said I'm gonna try to do other cars, not just Porsches, and I did take a break for one video and did a BMW, but now we are back to Porsches, and behind us we have a 997 Carrera GTS. This car is pretty cool. Let me show you around it. So here it is, 2011 Porsche 911 GTS. So this is kind of a mix between a Carrera and a GT3. As you can see, it has center lock wheels, kind of just like the GT3 did, and as you can tell by the spoiler, this car does have the aero kit. Now, this specific car has a few mods done to it. It has a GT3 shift boot, it has a shorter shifter, has a top gear exhaust, which is honestly a pretty mild exhaust, but it just gives it the little bit of sound that you want, and also has RSR control arms. Okay, so once you look inside, obviously this is a little more tame than a GT3. You actually get back seats in the GTS. You get comfort seats, which I do really like the bucket seats in the GT3, but you know, if you're planning to drive it every day, you definitely want the comfort seats. And yeah, just, you know, overall a little bit more comfort. You even get a sunroof. So yeah, it's more of a daily driver. Okay, so 997 Carrera GTS. A few weeks ago, I drove the 997 GT3 RS, you know, same year, same generation as this. And I said it was the best sports car ever made. I said it was the most fun car I've ever driven. And that is true. But I did have one problem with that car, and the problem was that it was too hard to drive to really take it out and enjoy it all the time. So the issue with that car is the clutch is too heavy, everything is just too heavy, too stiff, and you don't want to drive that car every day. And 911s are usually meant for you to honestly drive every day. They're very usable, reliable cars. They hold their value very well. Kilometers don't matter that much on them. So that car was a little bit flawed in that way, but just the driving experience was really good. What we have here is the GTS. This is kind of like the perfect compromise, because this car is significantly easier to drive. Everything feels lighter, but it's not much less of a driver's car. So this is kind of a midpoint between a Carrera and a GT3. What that means is you get the reliability, the usability of a Carrera, but you also get a good amount of the fun that you get out of the GT3. So this thing has more power than a regular Carrera S. I believe this is 408 horsepower. So it's not that far behind the GT3s. This specific car has the aero kit, so you still get like a spoiler. Also, the GTSs come with the center lock wheels that you get on the GT3s and the GT3 RSs. So it is, you know, a good amount of the features and experience you get in a GT car, but with the reliability and usability as a Carrera. Now, this specific car has 110,000 kilometers on it, again, because it is very drivable. But because this car has been properly serviced its whole life, you know, at the dealer, everything was done properly, this 110,000 kilometer car feels like brand new, feels solid. Like you can beat the hell out of it. It feels like it can take it, and wants to take it. There's really no issues with the car at all. And a big reason I think these cars are honestly kind of a bargain is because you look at a GT3, and again, I'm going to talk in Canadian dollars here because I don't know too well with the US market and the US dollars, but Canadian dollars, you know, a decently high kilometer GT3 now is well over 200,000. They went crazy in price, and again, it's 200,000 because they do work even after high kilometers. But this car, so this one specifically is listed for sale right now for under 100 grand. I think it's like 98,800. And you know, if you're somebody trying to just kind of buy a sports car, maybe you don't have a collection or anything, you need a sports car, and a GT3 would be stretching your budget, this is probably something that's a better buy for you, because you know, it's like less than 50% of the price of a GT3, but honestly you kind of get like 80-85% of the driving experience. So you know, if you're somebody that's not sure if they want to stretch your budget and go for a GT3, this is a great option to buy, because you know, you're saving all that money, but on top of that, on a car that's cheaper and you know, it's not a GT car, even though the GT cars are reliable, just for resale value and stuff, you're not going to be too worried about putting kilometers on this thing. As long as you keep servicing it properly, the car will last you forever. And you know, 100 grand sounds like a lot of money, but you know, the other cars you can get for this price are Ferrari 360s and beat up Gallardos. And those cars with 100,000 kilometers are done. Something's gonna go wrong. You're gonna have to spend $30,000 to fix something, clutches, whatever it is, it's gonna go wrong. In a car like this, there isn't really any hidden monsters in the closet. You know, there's nothing that's gonna break on you, it's gonna bankrupt you. Everything is very expected, everything is very, you know, easy to kind of live with. So you could literally buy this thing with 110,000 kilometers and daily drive it for years, and the car will be totally fine. You know, there's 911s out there, I think, with like over 1 million kilometers. So this is really nothing for this car. You gotta make sure to just stay on top of your services. But just the value-wise, what you get for it is amazing for half the price of a GT3. Now, the other thing I really like about the GTS is if you drive it normally, you know, you keep it under 3,000-4,000 RPM, you can honestly drive it like a normal car. You'll forget you're in a sports car. Yes, it's a manual and, you know, you sit lower, but it's not like crazy, like hard to drive, crazy exciting. Like, you can drive it as a daily car and not have to really think about what you're doing. But as soon as you want to, you know, push the revs up a little bit, you got a ton of power around 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPM, and this thing just starts pulling. And you know, it's pretty cool that you can just kind of change the personality of the car based on how you drive, and you really get kind of a daily driver. And as soon as you want to switch up and have some fun, you can do that. And there's not a lot of cars that can do that as well as this. I mean, look, push the car a little bit, second gear, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPM, 7,000, change up. I mean, this thing flies. It's crazy, you know, 400 horsepower with 911s doesn't feel like 400. It feels like significantly more. Now, I don't know if the cars are actually underrated or just because the engine's behind you and it's really just pushing you that it feels like this. But, you know, the power delivery in these cars is amazing, and it's so smooth. Oh. 6, 7. It's so good. You know, like, yeah, if you just want to drive a car every day, have fun, not have to worry about anything, nothing better than 911. And, you know, I've driven all these cars. The 997 is the best generation 911, hands down. It's, I think, the perfect size, the best driver's car. The only thing is the interiors on them are starting to feel a little bit outdated, but, you know, who cares? I haven't looked at the screen or anything since I started driving this thing. The driving experience is just next to none. It's so good. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the 997 Carrera GTS. Honestly, I love the car. I think it's a great daily driver. It's not as extreme as a GT3, but it's a lot more exciting than like a Carrera S. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. But yeah, I'm gonna go return this car. Pretty fun morning with it.